I was working for a company and another executive there had left. He had a franchising background through Midas Mufflers, and he began doing franchise consulting. And about a year later, I was going to leave the company that we had worked together at. And he said, look, I got more than I can do. Come join me. We'll be partners and we'll do this franchise consulting thing. And so that was interesting. And but the first client we worked on, that I worked on, was Supercuts. And he had already done about 80% of the work. I just worked on maybe the last 20%. But in the end, we ended up closing down the consulting practice and becoming involved in Supercuts. And at first, they would only let you have one store, and because they wanted to get to know you. And so we, a best friend and I each signed up for a store, kind of to handle diversification risk, geographic risk. And we, and then shortly thereafter, they opened it up and said you could do more. So, but San Francisco was sort of sold out theoretically. Of course, they've put many, many more stores in, but in the beginning, it was sold out. So we went to Los Angeles and opened stores there. This was back in 1980. And and that's where I really resided mostly, was Los Angeles for the first several years. That's the wrong thing to say, reside. Actually, that's where the majority of the stores were. So we opened several stores down there. My partner and I, he wanted something of his own, so I gave him the Northern California stores and kept all of the Southern. And now, all these years later, 31 years later, I've opened about 135 stores. I did the Southern California. Then in 1983, I went to Hawaii and I opened up that market. And in 1993, the corporation, the franchisor, came to me and asked me to do a joint venture with them in the greater New York area, metropolitan New York. So I went back there for about 2 1/3 years, and we opened 84 stores in a couple years. And that was a joint venture. And I had they wanted some of my skin in the game, the investment bankers that were putting up money for the project. So I contributed our Hawaii stores into the project. And then when I sold out my interest in New York, I also didn't have Hawaii any longer. And I had 20 remaining stores in Los Angeles. So, and since that time, I've grown that to 36 locations today.